For those who've been following me since 2010 and following my various YouTube channels and the various videos I've been doing on my commentaries, know that I'm passionate about us learning all we can about politics, business, our history, and our finances, and how we respond to each other in relationships. But when I was watching, actually, when I heard that Mitt Romney was going to speak to the NAACP, I'm not gonna lie to you, I sort of had to tip my hat to him, considering that most Republicans don't want to acknowledge NAACP or they have avoided the NAACP. But in my heart of hearts, I knew he was doing it to send a message to the white constituents or those on the extreme right or those fair weather fans or friends of ours. Now, yesterday, when he went in front of them and he used the term Obamacare, when he said what he said in front of that audience, I knew the cameras was waiting. I knew the commentaries on various networks were waiting. And I knew those who are supporters were waiting to see the reaction of the black community. And yet again, we fell for it. Now, me personally, at the NAACP, I wouldn't have really invited Mr. Romney because we had to be honest. Ever since since Mr. Obama said he's running for president, certain people in the Republican Party have been making racialized comments. Then during the Republican debates, they said a lot of hateful and misleading things about the black community. But I understand why the NAACP want to do it, because they want to always talk about being inclusive. And yet, nobody's inclusive in their organizations with us. But nonetheless, we still follow this doctrine of we all got to help everybody, but don't be vocal when it comes down to us. So everybody with common sense knew that Mitt Romney was basically doing what Bill Clinton did 20 years ago, when he threw Sister Soldier under the bus right along Reverend Jackson. And we all know, if you don't know what Bill Clinton did, ask your parents, your older siblings, or go look it up. But Bill Clinton basically took an article that interviewed that Sister Soldier had, and the media always, and politics always twist our words around. And I guess it was reference to the Rodney King verdict and riots and whatnot. And Bill Clinton basically, said to the white audience, you need to call out black racism, which is no such thing. You can be a reaction. You can give a reaction to racism, positive or negative, or you can be prejudiced, which every human being is. But blacks cannot be racist. So when I see politicians like Romney doing this shit, you would think that our brothers and sisters, these so-called educated men and women, these so-called clergy men and women, would get it. Well, everybody talked about it. Even the local news. Romney got booed by the NAACP. Blah, 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 trying to make it as if the NAACP was rude. When in fact, they only really reacted to the term Obamacare, because it is an insult. It is supposed to be done as a slander to this man. But I cannot let Mr. Obama get away without being criticized as well, or the Democratic Party. Mr. Obama, every time it's like he's got to be seen with black people, Mr. Obama has a conflict, a conflicting schedule or something, or something always come up. You had to change things. And I know when he was running, I have pointed this out to friends and family, and I got really shouted down. And I said, if this man is running for the president of the United States, he needs to be there for every voting constituency, every age group if he possibly can. But not once do I recall Mr. Obama going into a predominantly black community when he was running, and since he's been in office, to discuss our issues. The first thing the people in the White House, former press secretary, his supporters, especially those white supporters, well, he's not the black president. Blacks only voted for Obama because he was black. Or you guys, he's the second coming of Dr. King. And I'm sitting there saying, we're going to pay for this one, brothers and sisters. And I remember me and my father to this day, we have disagreement about this. And I said, y'all just don't want to see it. Y'all bought some hook, line, and sinker that the Republicans are the ultimate evil. You have men and women who you vote for who have that D in front or behind their name. It's just as evil as well. Just the difference is when they fuck you, they kiss you. When Republicans fuck you, they don't kiss you. That's the only difference, but you're still getting fucked. So what he did was he sent Joe Biden as an emissary. And I don't hate Joe Biden, but Joe Biden reminds me of that teacher you had at school. They'll sit there and try to teach you, but while they're teaching you, they're cracking on you at the same time or trying to discourage you. And a lot of people don't get that. Remember that Joe Biden said President Obama, well, then Senator Obama, is clean and articulate. You know how many times as a black man I've heard that term, clean and articulate? You know how many times I've been around white people when they talk to me and they're surprised I can hold a conversation, or I know I can talk about business, I can talk about economics, I can talk about politics, I can talk about religion, I can talk about relationships, I can talk about anything in the various forms of media. Now, there's some things I don't know, but when I do, and they're shocked, they're like, "My, what college did you go to? What community did you grow up in?" And then you sit there and you tell them, they get this look on their face like, "Wait a minute, wait, how you know all this?" And you see, and you want to say, "Oh, I guess you don't think that we read. You don't think that our mothers and fathers didn't engage us or expose us, or you don't think that we all want to just sit around and wait for you to throw crumbs at us." So the black community, and they was talking on MSNBC and them, that Joe Biden got a rousing applause. And Mr. Obama sent a videotape speech that he always does when it comes down to the black community. And I'm reading some of the comments on YouTube, News One and the Huffington Post and the Daily Beast and some conservative websites, and everybody's getting a big ass laugh at the black community. And people are saying, "Why are you guys supporting this guy?" Now, granted, I'm not a fan of Mitt Romney. I don't support anything the Republicans say. But Mr. Obama and his team and the Democrats have pretty much told the black community, bend over, let us fuck you, but we're not going to kiss you. Normally we do, but we ain't going to kiss you this time. And if you get hurt in the process or feel used, oh well. You can run over to the other guy's going to use you, and it might be worse, but hey. And I hate to use that sex metaphor because that's what it feels like. And it's been this debate in our community among people that who's better for the black community? Who's going to be? Is it going to be Mitt Romney or is it going to be President Obama? And I hear brothers and sisters say, "Oh, we're going to get it worse." It's already worse for us. It's already bad for us. And I keep telling brothers and sisters, Mr. Obama, if he does win, that second term, he only got 2 good years to push his stuff through. Now, I'm going to let you know something. The Democrats ain't going to get control of the Congress and Senate. If they do, it's going to surprise the hell out of me. But they're not. Because white people know what's going to happen if they get control. These special interest organizations want to push harder for certain things. Now, when the Democrats took back the Congress back in 2006 and got the Senate in 2008, they had an opportunity to push things and put things in place that could have helped our community. And we're not asking for handouts and special privileges, but we're asking them to change laws that go against us. But, that's too much like right. When Fox Clan and these talk show hosts, extremists, went after Acorn, I told everybody, I said, they're going to take Acorn down. They're going to take him down, and I'm going to tell you, it's going to come time to vote. We ain't going to be able to have it. They're going to try to fuck us up when they come to vote. "Oh, Harvey, you being paranoid." I said, they telling y'all what the fuck they doing. And what happened? Andrew Breitbart and that guy, I forget his name, and that white chick, they dressed up as a pimp and prostitute, and people actually believe that white men and white women walked to the office just like Huggy Bear and a 70s prostitute and spoke to black people. They think that's how we are in our community. And everybody, even the so-called liberals, so our friends, everybody believed that and made videos talking about Acorn. And I'm sitting there saying, you know what, black people, we did it to ourselves. We didn't help everybody else, but they turn around and stabbed us in the back when they laughing at us. So I'm sitting here hearing brothers and sisters saying Mitt Romney insulted us, he insulted the black community. But I said, what about Mr. Obama insulting the black community? What about the people who are Democrats insulting the black community? Why is it that people seem to forget that every black person that's been in office prior to Mr. Obama or since he's been in office have come under some attack or it's been insinuated that they are crooked politicians? I guess y'all haven't noticed that. Right now, Congressman Jesse Jackson is taking a leave of absence because they say he has a mood disorder. And a lot of people say, what does that mean? Now, the people in the media like they never heard that term before. And I'm watching like, okay, you know what? They playing us like we're idiots. And you got people who are not even our representatives. Like, well, he need to come back. He need to serve his district. And then I was about to mention this, but Rahm Emanuel, he said it better than I did. He said, Congress ain't doing nothing now, so why y'all worry about him coming back to work? They tried to veto health care. They don't want to give tax credits to college students or a student loan. They don't want women to have abortion rights. They don't want black people to get certain benefits or certain job creation to go in our community. But you worried about Congressman Jackson, that's deflection. And then the Chicago media, who's notoriously anti-black, notoriously racist, are stalking this man and asking his father personal questions and doing all kinds of crazy shit. So before we start focusing on Mitt Romney and Republicans, we got to look at the person that we've been holding hands with for the last 50, 60 years. Now, you're going to have some black conservatives going to say, see, we told you about the Democrats. But yeah, the Republicans are just as bad. And I hear brothers and sisters say, well, what do? We got to choose the lesser of two. No, we don't. The Asian community didn't do it. They don't do it. The Arab community doesn't do it. The so-called Latin community doesn't do it. The gay community didn't do it. Nobody generates the money in the black community can, or the envy that the black community can. Our celebrities have opted out and said, I just want to be in the history books. I just want to be able to go in the White House. When Mr. Obama has hung around and opened, when Mrs. Obama hung with Jay-Z and Beyonce, Diddy, Oprah Winfrey, and them, it pretty much tell me what kind of person or persons they are. They just like every other starstruck politician. Ooh, I'm going to hang with Beyonce. Mrs. Obama got too much going for herself to see me talking about Beyonce. Mr. Obama got too much going quoting Jay-Z when the man was a drug dealer and called black women all kinds of bitches. But you can get in front of a congregation in Chicago, in the black community, the city and state, that black population that got you to where you was at. Not saying the whites didn't vote, but it was the black community went out there and chug and went out there and pushed and pressed and got him where he was at. He threw Rev.Wright under the bus. He threw Minister Farrakhan on the bus. And there was brothers and sisters out there were saying, oh, wait a minute, hold on. Mr. Obama forget that he went to Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam to get support where he can get votes. But you know what? There were brothers and sisters warning us back then, but the Chicago media liked him because he didn't fit the so-called narrative of the black male American. See, what Mr. Obama has going for him, he has mixed ancestry. And then his father is black, but his father is a black African. And we know how whites feel about Africans. They love them. They look how they go there. And they go, we're going to go help. We got to go stop Coney. Well, they look, we got to go adopt them precious kids. Oh, his mom white? Oh, wow. So we can trust him. So he doesn't carry that baggage of the civil rights movement. That's what they said. A lot of y'all seem to forget that shit. Remember, Harry Reid said, no Negro dialect. He basically saying he don't talk like a nigga. Bill Clinton said, a few years ago, he would have been getting us coffee. The same guy that helped fund money for prisons, 3-strike law, NAFTA, The so-called first black president. Thank you to that right. I can't think of that black bitch saying he's the first black president. No, that was a black woman saying that. And those of us out here point this shit out. Your guys are haters. You can never be pleased. No. We sit back here and we obviously see Mitt Romney. He is racist. We know that. He's playing the script that the Republicans have played for years. But the Democrats play it as well. But blacks, we figure because these black pastors, these handkerchief head celebrities, these cooning and samboing Negroes tell us, nope, we got to go this. We got to do that. We can't say anything. And you got brothers, he can't speak to us, but he can speak about gay issues when a lot of people are more anti-gay, not homophobic, but don't believe in gay marriage or gay same-sex partnerships. You can talk about that. Illegal immigration, you can talk about that. You can go talk about Israel, who a lot of people don't know. Our money is going, our tax dollars are going to Israel, but yet their black men and black women are being pushed out or being murdered or being sterilized over there. But we don't talk about that shit. When Rev.Wright said, hey, this man is a politician. He's going to say what a politician has to say. People say, oh, you just butter because he just threw you to the side. You need to go somewhere and shut up. Rev.Wright never asked for the cameras to come and get in his face. They didn't tell you to play clips of sermons out of loops. And loops out of sequence, excuse me. It was the Democrats telling the black folk, tell that nigga to shut up. Remember? And speaking of that, Congressman Jackson was one of the main surrogates for Senator Obama, not President Obama. And he thought he's going to recommend me for that Senate seat. Come to find out, he didn't have Congressman Jackson nowhere in that. He wanted Lisa Madigan. Now, I'm going blank on her position right now, but no, I usually know, not state's attorney. I can't think of a position now, but a daddy, Mike Madigan, he basically runs downstate. And if anybody's followed Illinois and Chicago politics, know that even though this is a blue state, you might as well say it's run like a red state. Programs are cut in our community, questionable things are going on, and yet Mr. Obama stands and smiles at those people. Former Mayor Daley dissed him, talked about him, said he need to do this. Like he's a little boy. He went and shook hands and hugged and all kinds of shit. But the people in the south side of Chicago, well, that's where he went because everybody know, they think there's only one part of Chicago. They think it's the south side. He went over there, went and talked to some people, did some promising. He didn't go to the west side because it was still too close to the north side. And he figured at the west side, he did like some south side. I mean, no disrespect, but those who from the south side know exactly what I'm talking about. This west-south side thing, and I'll talk about that in another video. But he didn't come to the west side. But when he was running, he said, fuck the south side, just like the west side. And a lot of people sitting there scratching their head. I remember going on talk radio, and he was talking about it. And one day I called WVON, and I called this formerly known as the Step Kids radio show, Matt and Perry. And people was talking about Obama, and naturally you had some pastors and some black women defending him. You had some brothers like myself and the host was basically saying, look, this man has not had the experience of a black American, the traditional experience. Not saying he's not American, but he didn't grow up in Chicago. He didn't grow up in New York. He didn't grow up in California. He didn't grow up in Arkansas, Mississippi. He don't know what it's like to be driving down the street and have a police officer pull you out of your car or make you take your shoes off or pat you down, make you take your pants, unbutton your pants and shit. That's happened to us. It happened to me. So, and people need to realize that, this man got daddy issues. Every time he speak about his father, and people speak about his father and man, we don't know Mr. Obama Sr. to ban him because he's not here. We don't know what Mrs. Obama said. We don't know what the parents said. We don't know. But the media is making a black man abandoned. That's what they said. And I can't run me the wrong way because Mrs. Obama basically didn't raise her son. Her parents raised her son to a large extent. But they didn't badmouth her. They badmouthed him. because they were setting up the narrative that the black man is the villain, that he's no good, he can't trust, he's untrustworthy. But the Democrats didn't want to go down like that, so they started saying he's biracial, our first biracial president. And then some said they say the first black president because they didn't want to keep saying biracial because they know blacks, we have some issues with our biracial brothers and sisters because some of them, or mixed ethnicity, how you want to describe it, like to play both sides of the field. Now, I know some of y'all get pissed off and say, but that's just the truth. And I remember when he went to Florida, campaign stop, and these black guys had a banner. And I never forget, I got found a video. And it was asking questions. And he got perturbed. If you ever watch Mr. Black's ex, Mr. Obama or something, he gets pissed off. Like, how dare you ask me this? You know, I remember when Eric Holder said something about nation being cowards when it comes down to racism, President Obama was pissed. He frowned at him like, why would you say that? The only time Mr. Obama has really defended a black person was Professor Gates. And Professor Gates got issues of color. If y'all don't know about Professor Gates' history, besides him being arrested in the beer summit, there's some interesting things that Professor Gates has said about blacks and black leadership. Okay? But it wasn't until he got his nigga moment, all of a sudden he became a black man all of a sudden. But anyways, Mr. Obama and his team is betting on the Republicans constantly disrespecting him in the community to gin us up, to get us ready to go out and vote. But some of my brothers and sisters ain't falling for it. Matter of fact, I talked to two of my friends yesterday, two females that were super Obama supporters, and they said they cannot get geeked up from this time. And they said, Harvey, everything you said was on point. And they said they had a dilemma. I said, I understand that dilemma because regardless of his mixed ethnicity, he's still viewed as a black man. I still view him as a black man. I know a lot of people don't do that, but let's be honest. If he never told you he had a white mama, you would say that's a black man. Or some people say that's a nigga, and that's what people say. When you see the whole birther thing, and you see the question of his intelligence, and he's being legit as a black person, it bothers you because we've heard these things, we hear these things every day. And the Republicans are doing it on purpose so they can make it into a race thing where they can say, get the blacks out there to vote for him, and the whites that get turned off by the blacks talking about racism, they're going to more likely either not vote for him or they're not going to come out and vote. They're going to either go vote for against their own economic interests, which they do all the time. So when Rev.Wright gave his sermon the other day, and I did a video, and y'all probably seen the video of it, and he was basically saying a racist DNA in some of our black politicians. What he was saying is that we have been so conditioned, excuse me, these allergies. We've been conditioned by white society to think a certain way, is that anything that look like we're going to benefit or talk about issues is somehow we've done something wrong. So they always got to go out and find that black person they know who's going to be afraid to call out and talk about certain things, to sit back and tell the black community you're wrong. Hence, Steve Harvey, Tom joining Michael Bass and the rest of them out there carrying the water for Mr. Obama. And I and so many other brothers and sisters have said, wait a minute, this man can speak to everybody else, can go and stand in front of them and talk to them with common sense, not pander to them. Well, all of them pander, but I'm talking about his dialect don't change. You know how Hillary Clinton get the black southern sister talk? That's what Mr. Obama does. And a lot of brothers and sisters who have now been watching not just my videos, but other videos, or starting to see things that you just can't easily explain away, are starting to notice that Mr. Obama and the Democrats take advantage of it just like the Republicans. And a lot of them are saying they're not going to vote. They just ain't going to vote. And then some people say, are you crazy? Mitt Romney going to take over. I got a question. Mr. Obama signed an executive order about the illegal immigrants and whatnot. You mean to him he can't sign executive orders for us? But then he say he's going to lose his white support. So that's reinforcing and proving that the Democrats are just as racist and hypocritical as the Republicans. And I tell everybody this. I say everybody's Republican, Democrat. When it comes to other people's business, you're a Republican, you're conservative. When it comes down to your shit, you liberal and Democrat. And that's how people need to look at it. And I try not to be that but guess what? We all do it. We all do it. But the difference is I see it. I know that the Democrats and Republicans don't give a fuck about us because we as black people allow it. We keep begging these motherfuckers to love us and respect us. But years ago, even before Malcolm, Marcus Garvey and them said we gotta take control of our destiny. But what they did was they sought out weak-minded individuals and they mind fucked them or promised them things or gave them a little bit, and they've turned around and they let loose in our community. Now, sending Joe Biden to talk to the NAACP doesn't sway me. Mitt Romney coming and talking to the NAACP doesn't sway me. Mr. Obama sending a videotape message definitely don't sway me. But I say this to the brothers and sisters. Men like Rev.Wright, Louis Farrakhan, and so many others have been on point. Tavis Smiley, Professor West, they've been on point about Mr. Obama. Remember, he doesn't have our experience. He doesn't have that. He's not a descendant of black American slaves like you and I are. His loyalties are to white people. Here it is, they disrespect him every day, his wife and children. Matter of fact, I came across an article where they said a police officer threatened to shoot Mrs. Obama, and I'm going to talk about that soon. And I'm sitting there saying, Reverend Wright was warning us during the election. And what do? We dismissed it. Mr. Farrakhan was warning us, but he didn't say a whole hell of a lot because he didn't want to be looked upon as that black man that, stopped another brother from getting in office. Because a lot of people had hopes that, when he got to do this during an election, once he get in office, he's going to do this. He's still doing the same shit he did when he was running. And the ironic part is that he can speak for illegals. He can speak to white women. He can speak to the gay and lesbian transgender community. He can speak to the Jewish community. He can speak to the Arab community. He can speak to the Asian community. And they've all been disrespectful to him. No matter what he does, he's still a nigga in their eyes. But it look like you and I about to ask for anything on them. Niggas asking for something. They getting something for nothing. Mitt Romney said, if y'all want free stuff, vote for President Obama. That was cold. That niggas getting free stuff. We haven't got shit in this country. Everything we have, we fought and we hold on to it with dear life. Nobody's giving me shit for free. Now, have there been people that help me like I've helped them? Yeah. But usually it comes to me having to do the leg work. You having to do the leg work. So don't get it twisted that Mr. Obama is for us or Mitt Romney is necessary for us or against us, because they all do the same thing. And this is why I say that we got to be more involved in politics, business, and education, because they fucking us. And like I said earlier, they fucking us and they ain't even kissing us. At one time they used to kiss us to make us feel good. But now they just fucking you and say, get the hell out of my room. Ask yourself, why is it that the so-called first black president don't want to talk about black issues that unemployment in our community is at an all-time high. Well, actually, it's not at an all-time. It's always been high. But with the economy in the way it is in the crapper, people use that term. And unfortunately, I've picked up that term too, which I had to be careful too, because every now and then I repeat things that I hear in the media too. But black people have been unemployed, underemployed for years. But people say, well, y'all need to put yourself up by your bootstraps. You need to do this. You need to do that. Right now in the city of Chicago, Rahm Emanuel and the police chief, I forget it's Gary McCarthy, I believe, have figured out that they're going to tackle the gang issue by tearing down abandoned or dilapidated buildings. Now, I have no issue with you tearing down dilapidated buildings that are beyond repair. But those buildings have owners. They have banks that have put people out, foreclosed. They need to maintain their property. But because of Democrats and Republicans and them doing dirty shit, letting drugs flow in our community, weapons flow in our community, and telling moms and dads that you're a bad parent if you discipline your children, you got a generation of motherfuckers out killing each other, terrorizing the community which they live in. Now, those properties that could have been bought, could have been rehabbed, those properties that could have had people in there paying their rent, living. Now they tearing them down. And guess what it's going to create? It's going to create vacant lots. It's going to create a land grab. But I told everybody when Rahm Emanuel was running, I said, you guys either forgot what he did with the Clinton administration, what he was doing when he was with Mr. Obama's administration. Y'all sitting up here, y'all can't bitch and moan once you get in there, and black people start bitching and moaning. Cause now they getting fucked over. Brothers and sisters, I don't know what else I can say to y'all, but and tell y'all to stop following these politicians blindly, or following these pastors or these celebrities telling you to vote Democrat, or not questioning or listen to both sides and making them work for you. Like I said yesterday, Mitt Romney going to the NAACP, that was red meat. That was a wolf was to those who are racist, those to the extreme right. But Mr. Obama sending Joe Biden out there was to keep blacks from complaining about President Obama and his administration not giving a fuck. But Mr. Obama didn't just not go to the NAACP convention. He said he was going to go to the Bud Billiken parade here in Chicago, well, in the Chicagoland area, I should say. And a few days later, he canceled due to schedule conflicts. This man has more scheduling conflicts when it comes down to black folks than anything. So I wonder if we're going to have a schedule conflict when it comes time to vote in November. Because I'm telling you, a lot of brothers and sisters that voted for him are not going to vote. And I repeat, I am not going to sit here and try to tell you guys the virtue of voting. Now, I will tell you, voting your local elections, they have more consequences, because guess what? You vote in your local elections, in your state elections, guess what? You decide who goes to Congress, whether it be the state congressmen and senators or your state national representatives, senators, and congressmen. You know what I mean? So, we need to understand that as black people, we have a voice, we have power. But the problem is we let the church, we let Democrats, we let other so-called egregious groups use us. This is why I said the NAACP need to be reorganized. Because when racism or discrimination is thrown at us, the organization say they're supposed to be for us should tuck tail and run. The organization that's predominantly black should not be out there fighting other people battles. My thing is, why in the fuck will we constantly give this man this administration or the Democrats a pass when they constantly just look us over? As I said before, Rev.Wright was on point about this racist DNA that permeates within our community, within politics, black politicians. If you think I'm exaggerating, look what happened with Pt2 last month. She said niggers. Didn't care if she offended, but she figured I got Jay-Z and them defending me. I ain't gotta apologize. If we had any self-respect for ourselves, NAACP should have said, the Disney company, right now Gwyneth is shooting Iron Man 3. You know what? We're going to boycott Iron Man, or we're going to boycott Marvel, any Marvel movies or Disney products, or your ABC, or ESPN, or any else that you own, have your hands in, until she issues your apology or until she's fired off that damn movie. Now I guarantee you, if a black person went around and said the same thing or said some hateful about Jewish folk, the Jewish community would not stop till they got a brother and sister fired. They would have boycotted Disney like you wouldn't believe. But the ADL, they don't play. NAACP, they don't want to talk about certain things. This is why brothers and sisters my age, if sitting there and young, and say, you know what, I'm gonna get what I can get and fuck everybody else. And I understand it, but it's a wrong mindset. So I'm gonna say this to you guys again. If you're going to vote in your local elections. If you want your voices to be heard, you need to start networking with people. Because I'm going to tell you what Mr. Obama is going to do. September, October, he's going to go on Tom Joyner, Steve Harvey, Michael Bates, and whatever other black radio show. He's going to start doing a bunch of interviews. He's going to start calling in. But he'll never be in the community. You're going to see these lame ass commercials that's very insulting. And then people going to start, let's break it down. The black vote. They're going to go into barbershops and you're going to get these handkerchief head Sambo coons going to start rationalizing. I'm going to ask you right now again, since he's been in office, have our condition got better in our community? In fact, I think it's gotten worse. The men and women who normally speak out for us have been neutralized to a degree because of Mr. Obama. And I keep telling y'all, he may not win. If he do win, he got 2 good years to do whatever he got to do. If he don't win, or after Mr. Obama's second term, if blacks start going to whites and say, wait a minute, y'all had Obama for how long? And he didn't do shit for y'all. Then you really talking about slavery, mental and physical slavery. So we better get our shit in order now. We better stop alienating those men and women with wise mind who have ideals, who speak truth to power. This is why I say brothers like Rev.Wright, Minister Farrakhan, whether you agree with everything they don't, at least they're consistent. I'm telling you right now, these so-called liberals, these so-called talking heads, when Mr. Obama got in office, a lot of them kept saying he's not the black president. And they all criticized him. Ed Schultz, Rachel Maddow, Keith Oldman. They questioned his manhood. The Young Turks, all of them, they questioned his manhood. Black community say, shit, we didn't do none of that. We gave him the benefit of the doubt. But yet those people he sit and talk to, those people he respect. They've disrespected him time and time again. But the black community, we stood with him. This is why I say that whether we like it or not, some of y'all gonna get mad, be butthurt when I say this, that those of mixed ethnicity, those who pull more black or look black or identify themselves as black, deep down they wish they can be white or be accepted by the other side. Mr. Obama is proving my point and so many other points that he'd do anything to please that group of people who hate his guts. And our people have suffered. We've had to endure every insult. We had to do every ridicule. Nobody talks to us like we got common sense. Nobody comes in our community and asks us our opinion. They go to the most uneducated brother and sister, or they go to the safe black man or black woman. They would never ask a brother like me, will you vote for President Obama? I say no. And then they ask, they never ask you why. Because I tell them in the door, I said he and his administration and the Democrat Party have taken us for granted. A lot of people say we voted for Mr. Obama because he was black, or we assumed or looked at him as a black man. No, we thought that he was the better candidate. But at the same time, those of us in the community had reservations because he's not the first black politician to screw us over. But sending Joe Biden to pacify us, don't insult our intelligence. And those brothers and sisters in NWCP, those members, need to have their heads examined. They need their ass whooped. Because y'all talk about y'all represent the black community, but y'all align yourself with everybody else, but tell our people to stand down. The Congressional Black Caucus tell our people to stand down. And those are the same people that threw Rev.Wright under the bus, Acorn under the bus, Minister Farrakhan under the bus, Shirley Sherrod, Van Jones, Desiree Rogers, black mothers, black fathers, black children. But when they get their nigga moment, they come look for the black community to save them. And like fools, put a fucking cape on, got the curl in our head, and jump out the window, up in the way. And then we get down and go protect them. Once we pick them up and take them someplace safely, they pull out the fucking kryptonite and leave it there for us to die a slow death. Understand this, brothers and sisters. If you don't start to say enough is enough, they're going to keep doing this to you. It's already became a generation thing. Here it is. You got men and women in my father's age group have given up. A lot of it's because they're tired. A lot of it's because they're older. A lot of it because they're in fear. Brothers in our age group, sisters in our age group, we just fell in love with that dollar. Just say, hey, I got a new car. I got some new clothes. I can live in this house. I can live in that house. I can go this trip. I got me some white friends. I got me some Asian friends. I got a Jewish friend. And the little kids that's coming looking at us to be the leaders, they're going to say, wait a minute, my uncle, my mom, my dad, my older brother and sister, this is what they left for us. Don't let somebody just pat you on the head and think everything is all right. Ask yourself, why is Mr. Obama not speaking to the black community directly himself? Why is it that when he do speak to us, it's scolding us, telling us to take off your slippers and stop your complaining? He didn't tell the gay community, hey, don't you compare your issues to the black community. He didn't tell the Jewish community, quit trying to say you're the most hurt or grieved people on the planet. He didn't tell those who came here illegally, hey, man, y'all got to go back to where y'all came from. Y'all can't bypass everybody. He didn't tell white women quit being opportunistic. Y'all not minorities. Y'all was a part of the majority. We got to do better, brothers and sisters. We got to quit throwing those black men and black women, especially those black men that spoke about this shit for many, many years, under the bus. White people bring out Martin Luther King and pacifiers to keep us to shutting up. But you know what? When you say Malcolm, so we know what kind of black person you are. If you say something about, yeah, Rev.Wright was on point, we know what kind of nigger you are. So I'm going to keep praising Rev.Wright, Malcolm X, Elijah Muhammad, Marcus Garvey, and those black men and black women whose names known or unknown, who have opened my eyes, not just my eyes, but other brother and sister eyes to the world. Don't vote for Mr. Bum because he looks like you. Don't vote for him because you're afraid what might happen. Because guess what? It's going on right now. You're getting fucked right now. Whether it be now or in November or later, you're going to get fucked. Because we as a people have not decided to do the hard thing, or to put our foot down and say enough is enough. If we can be arrogant and cocky to each other, why not be arrogant and cocky to people who have harmed us, who systematically set out to destroy our people? Think about it.